Ever since the Modi government came to power, it has been meticulously cleaning up the mess that the UPA government had left behind due to its faulty policies. From curtailing the ballooning fiscal deficit to the recent handover of Air India back to the Tatas, the Modi government has successfully resolved many issues that had been ailing the country for a long time. Here are a few legacy issues that the Modi government has resolved or is resolving, which were inherited from the previous Congress governments. During the Congress regime, public sector banks gave loans to anyone who were in the good books of the party over a phone call. Those who took these loans defaulted on payments and even managed to get new loans to pay off old loans. With banks unable to recover the money, these loans became non-performing assets, severely affecting the lending ability of banks. As soon as the Modi government came to power, it used a 4R strategy: recognize, resolute, recapitalize and reform to deal with the NPAs. With banking reforms and the setting up of a bad bank, the problem of NPAs is being resolved. During the UPA regime, oil marketing companies had huge under-recoveries as retail fuel prices were not kept in pace with the global crude oil prices. Compensating the oil companies through fuel subsidies, the Congress government, in order to keep the fuel prices low, converted the under-recoveries into long-term oil bonds and postponed the payments to the companies. The Modi government is now paying off these UPA-era oil bonds and will be compensating Rs 1.3 lakh crore to the oil companies over the next 5 years. In 2005, during the Congress-led UPA government, Devas Multimedia entered into a fraudulent deal with Antriksh to provide multimedia services to mobile users. In 2011, when the 2G spectrum scam came to light, this deal with Devas Multimedia was hurriedly cancelled by the then Manmohan Singh government. After the deal was scrapped, Devas shareholders filed for commercial arbitration before the International Chambers of Commerce and under the India-Mauritius and India-Germany bilateral investment treaties. This had become a major international embarrassment for the Indian government, with India's assets abroad getting seized. However, with the timely intervention of the Modi government, Antriksh requested NCLT to liquidate Devas Multimedia, which has now been upheld by the Supreme Court. This will go a long way for India to win the legal battle against Devas in the international courts. When the UPA was shunted out of power in 2014, it had left a landmine behind due to its incompetence. Fiscal deficit was at a record high during the UPA regime, when we had a Harvard-educated finance minister and an Oxford-educated prime minister. However, the Modi government struck a right balance, adhering to fiscal discipline without compromising on the welfare measures for the poor and not imposing an additional burden on the middle class. Air India, which was unilaterally nationalized by then PM Nehru, was plunged into losses and debts by successive Congress governments through irrational decisions and policies driven by vested interests. After several unsuccessful attempts, the government of India has finally managed to turn around the fortunes of Air India, with the Tatas winning the bid to acquire the airlines. The Maharaja has now returned to his rightful home thanks to the efforts of the Modi government. There are many such blunders of the erstwhile Congress governments which the Modi government is today rectifying. The taxpayers' money will no longer be wasted towards paying for the blunders of the Congress party. Jai Hind.